Okay guys, very quick video. I just wanted to update you on the type 2 diabetes Dr. Allo situation. Now, if you've been watching over the last day or so, Dr. Allo, who's very prolific at posting on Twitter and TikTok and YouTube, has been putting out information that basically says type 2 diabetes is genetic. It's not about food. So the example here that he put out is saying, as you can see on screen, you don't get diabetes by eating certain foods. You get type 2 diabetes from your mother or father. And as we can see here, rightfully so, Life, Liberty and Low Carb has said, wait, what? Can someone please explain how eating sugars and grains doesn't affect your chances of type 2 diabetes? All right, so I had a feeling that what Dr. Allo was going to do, once he realized there'd been this big uproar about his comments about type 2 diabetes coming from your mother and father, and it's not about food, is he was going to backtrack and say, oh yes, you took me out of context. That's not what I said at all. You are misrepresenting exactly what I said. I didn't mean that. I mean, he didn't exactly say that, but this is his response. Let's watch his response and then we'll comment.
Yes, diabetes is absolutely a genetic disease, and yes, absolutely, diabetes is also a lifestyle disease. Why are you guys trying to make it either or? No one is saying it is only genetic, and no one is saying it cannot be affected by lifestyle whatsoever.
So, why are you guys saying it's either or? Okay, so let's just go back to the tweet. You don't get diabetes by eating certain foods. You get type 2 diabetes from your mother or father. Who here is saying it's either or? That to me looks like it's you that's saying it's either or, Dr. Allo, no one else. So you're actually backtracking here in a really weird way, because you're saying, well, you know, it's everyone else that's saying it's a black or white decision. And you're the one that's making it black and white here in the tweet.
Must have the genes for it. And then yes, gaining weight, regardless of how you gain the weight and what you eat to gain it, makes it worse. Being inactive makes it worse. Losing weight, regardless of what your diet actually is, improves your diabetes. Being active, regardless of how, also makes your diabetes better. Stop trying to make this into some nonsense black or white thing. It is absolutely both, but you must have the genetics for it in order to have it.
Okay, so no one's making it black and white except you. And the reason I'm irritated about this is because you're the one that's prescribing them statins. You're the one that's saying they can reduce their risk of heart disease by taking the statins, rather than perhaps saying to them, well, let's work on the blood sugar problems that you've got, which might be contributing to your heart disease and that kind of thing. You're saying, well, that's all your genetics, as you've said in this tweet here. And as a doctor, if you're dispensing advice, surely it behooves you to give people the most accurate advice possible, not just say in a blanket statement, you don't get diabetes by eating certain foods, it comes from your parents, because that's patently wrong. I have spoken to hundreds of people, and I know there are thousands, potentially millions of people out there that have reversed their type 2 diabetes by changing the way they eat, by taking the sugary foods and foods that convert to sugar out of their diet completely. What happens? Their blood sugar returns to normal. This is not a genetics thing. And the other point we need to think about is why, if it's about genetics, why are these genetics only so prevalent since the 1980s? Why weren't these genetic problems evident before that? Or why were they much more reduced before that? Why all of a sudden? Could that be something to do with, I don't know, food? Perhaps it isn't black and white, but if it's not black and white, then you need to smarten up your act, because this is ridiculous. You can't say statements like this and then 24 hours later come out and backtrack and say, hey, you guys, it was all your fault. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. If you want to see a video that talks about the real cause of diabetes and how you can reverse it, check out this video next.